Welcome back to another episode of Catch This Now. This podcast is all about providing engaging topics that will educate you so you are enlightened with the tools and techniques that you can use to do the work on your journey to being the best version of yourself. I am your host, Tiffany Hodge, LMSW, and founder of Tiffany Empowers. And my hope is that you catch all of this now so you won't get caught up with it later. Let's do the work. Welcome back. Welcome back. I hope everybody is having a fantastic day. I hope this podcast finds you well. This month, if you don't know, it is Social Work Month. So all month, every episode, I'm going to dedicate to introducing and highlighting some colleagues that are in my local community and I think would be amazing from you to hear from and just see the different avenues and the different barriers that we break as social workers. Social work is something that is very dear to my heart. I love doing it, and I want to just highlight again the different avenues that my profession offers. And so I'm going to highlight and speak with and get them to share stuff about themselves and the profession and what kind of work they do. So, coming up in this episode, we are going to meet and greet and talk with Miss Shuntoya Chatman. She is a licensed clinical social worker. She is an author and an owner of Wholistic Counseling Services LLC, located in Augusta, Georgia. She has provided psychotherapy for the past 13 years and is currently offering services through telehealth. That means you can talk to her virtually, y'all. Shuntoya is married and a mother of two children. Mrs. Chapman is a Georgia native. If you want to connect with her, you can follow her on Facebook. Just type in Holistic Way Therapy. You can also follow her on Instagram at Grieve with Grace. If you want to learn more about her, you can find her services at www.myholisticcounseling.com. All of this information you will be able to also find in the description box of this podcast. A few more things about Mrs. Chapman is that she is an adjunct instructor at a local community college. See, I told you we are everywhere doing everything. We're going to get into talking about her book, Grieve with Grace, Rediscover Purpose, Acceptance, and Faith after the loss of a loved one, where you can find at Amazon, or she'll tell us where we can find it. Without further ado, right after this, you're going to hear our conversation with Mrs. Shuntoya Chatman, LCSW, social worker that is breaking barriers. Okay, hey Shuntoya,
Hello, Tiffany.
how are you?
I am well. Thank you for asking, and I can tell you are well.
I am. I've had coffee and some soup.
Ooh, yes.
I know.
Now
You
you're
know,
talking. You're talking my talk now, my language.
yeah, and I'm happy on the inside.
That's right. That's right. Awesome.
Thank you for taking the time to meet with us. Happy Social Work Month to you.
Thank you. Thank you. And same
Yes,
to you.
thank you. And I am excited because I know you are out here literally breaking barriers. And that's why I was excited for you to be able to come on and talk to our audience and share your love and your passion for what we do as social workers, as clinicians, as therapists, as wound healers, as all kind of things we are.
Yes.
And I want to be able to show our vast array of what we do, because people don't really understand the magnitude of what we do. And when I came to meet you at your book signing,
Yes.
I was just so impressed. And I enjoy your book. I actually give it to people who come to me for grief.
Awesome.
Because I think it's a easy digestible read.
Good.
And it's helpful to them. And we're going to get into that because I want to make sure you have space to talk about it. Where can we find it? And making sure that our audience know that this is not something that you just wrote off a whim.
Right.
This is your true story and how you process through it, even as a clinician.
Yes.
And I appreciate your transparency,
Thank you.
That's why you are here. And I'm excited to get to speak with you today.
Thank you. I'm excited too. I like to bond and connect with other clinicians, so of course it's a pleasure for me as well.
Absolutely. So we're going to jump into this. Tell us about your practice, and can you define what social work means to you?
Oh, wow. Well, the name of my practice is Wholistic Counseling Services. So I'm going to be honest with you, Tiffany. When I first came into this profession, it really was based on things that I had experienced, like you said, my grief, trauma. And I didn't know that social work would really be my career. And so when you hear the term, and I know it's starting to become a cliche term, but I still believe it. Like, pain can birth your purpose. I am a true witness of that. And so, when I came into this field, I was new, baby new. And I've had to, finesse it, deal with all the obstacles that come, because we make social work look easy. Because from the period that people see it, they're like, oh, it don't seem like it's that hard. There's a lot to navigate. So when I think about social work and, being a therapist and having my own private practice, it's just so much there. Because I believe in what I do. I feel like this is my ministry. So that's how I look at social work, as my ministry. So it's my way to connect with like-minded people. We're all in this journey called life. We're trying to figure it out the best way that we can. Now, are some more successful than others? Yes. And the reason why is because of the tools that they have. Whether it's inherited tools, or it's tools that they obtain through education, training experiences, or tools that have been obtained from mentoring. So some people is able to navigate life a little differently because of the tools that they have. But again, social work, when I look at it as a ministry for me, a healing ministry is what I refer to it. So I have an opportunity to touch people's lives in ways that other people don't. So that's why I take what I do serious. And I try to be mindful of the things I say. Because at the end of the day, I'm kind of liable for the information that I'm putting out, into the world, social media. So yeah, social work is really a healing ministry, and that's the way I look at it. There's so many stigmas and so many stereotypes when it comes to social work. First, and you understand that too, because there's so many images that we've seen on television, what we've heard. And sometimes it's not in a positive light. But now, because social media has given us kind of like a spotlight, and therapy is considered to be in, it's becoming like people are
trendy.
Yes, trending, right? Because there was a time that people didn't want to talk about therapy out loud. I know I may kind of be going ahead.
You're fine.
But like I said, when it comes to social work, it's just so much in there. But I just look at it just to make it simple as a helping ministry to help those who are wounded. Some people have a lot of emotional wounds. And they have been living with these wounds for some time. And you understand too, most time when people come to us, they're in crisis.
Yeah.
Okay. They are in crisis because they have been dealing and just trying to address these issues on their own, and they haven't been successful. So they come to us, they are in need. They are hurting. And so that's why you must treat them with delicacy. I mean, you still got to be firm, but you got to be delicate with them too. So yeah, this is a helping profession. That's what I see social work as. It's a helping profession, meeting people where they are. I hope that answered.
I like that you
your question.
Yeah, you did. You definitely answered it, and I like that. The other two social workers that I met with, you all have this running theme of it is a ministry, and that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a healing ministry. It is a serving ministry. It's the work of what it is. We are like street warriors.
Indeed. That's a good way to
out
put it.
here.
That's a good way to put it. We are.
We are out here.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that you personalize that. This is how I got here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I probably wouldn't have ended up here, but
Mm-hmm.
this is how I got here and how we should treat others.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times we have to experience it first.
Yes.
In order to be of help and to be of true service.
That is so true.
And our pains push us into purpose, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And we're still trying to navigate through that. And a lot of people don't understand. Even us as therapists, we navigate.
Yes. Yes.
Through our own.
Yes.
And then have to somewhere find the strength to help others navigate through that same pain. And so I appreciate you being able to understand, to be delicate.
Yes.
Recognize where you are in this whole process. And how you define social work to you. And you're right, when you are able to define it your way, it means something to you. And you carry it different.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you're not just a social worker. This is a ministry. That's big. Because you're accountable to this.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yes, I am. We all are. And because it's like we have taken like an oath, to do no harm. So we got to be careful. We got to be careful, what we're putting out there, the image that we're putting out there, the services. So it's important. We must walk, a line too. If we're going to be about integrity, and that's one of the values of social work is integrity. That's one of them. And so yes, we definitely must walk that line and make sure that we are in order in what we do.
You are again one of the social workers that I believe, in my personal opinion, who's breaking barriers.
Oh, thank you.
And I want you to share with my audience what barriers are you hoping to break with the community that you serve?
Well, I think because I live in a rural area, so the challenges is trying to find services, to find quality mental health services, and then trying to locate clinicians of color. That's the second barrier. So I'm gonna be honest with you. I had some clients say, you know what, Ms. Chatman, I just chose you because of your name. And that's authentic.
Yes.
They're like, I chose you because of your name. Because I wanted to, receive services from someone who looks like me. Now, that's not being racist. That's just a level of comfort. Okay, so to me, that's important. So that's a barrier right there, trying to find clinicians of color. And, oh boy, especially males, which is another topic, right? There's such a need. There's such a need. And people are coming. They are helpless. They're kind of like at the end of their rope, to be honest with you. Most of the people that I meet. And just to see the relief, to see it manifest, hear it in their speech, like, wow, there is someone who gets me. There's someone who understands me. There's someone who doesn't criticize me. So just that's a barrier. Making sure that there's enough representation in the field. Because it wasn't like that 20 years ago, 30 years ago. So now we're making making waves in the field of social work. And so now you're seeing more, people of different ethnicities, religion, sexual orientation. I mean, there are therapists out there to help people wherever they may be, So I think that's one barrier. I think another barrier is teaching people about how you can access it financially. Because again, in the rural era, finances is big. It's a big thing. So most people don't even know, like, how can I pay for therapy? So that's a big barrier. So education is first thing I do, even on the first call. When someone calls and Okay, I'm seeking therapy. I said, okay, what is your form of payment? So they're like, huh? So then I had to explain what that means. And I'm like, okay, are you employed? They're like, yeah. But can I use my health insurance? I'm like, well, it depends on the circumstances. And you must have a mental health diagnosis. So they're like, oh, I didn't know that. Most of them don't. So then it's like, okay, but how can I access service? Because financially, I can't afford it. Then I get to educate them about an employee assistance program, what we call it EAP. So it's just that education component is required to help address these barriers when it comes to accessing services.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's the biggest barrier that I, encounter is the finances and people knowing that there are different forms of, of payment for it. Because most people don't even know they have EAP. They're like, what is that? I'm like, your HR person, when they gave me that packet, I didn't go through it. I'm like, you are missing out on benefits. Please go back and read. Talk to your HR representative. So it's just that educational piece and just taking out the time. Not all the individuals I talk to may become clients, but it's just like at least I've left them with some information so when they're ready to move forward, then they can because now they are better informed.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I spend a lot of time educating. Is to your point,
Mm-hmm.
when we become social workers and we get these higher level positions and jobs and things, we leave the rural areas
Mm-hmm.
of which we come from.
Right.
We
Right.
didn't all start in a city.
Correct. Correct.
And so I admire that you are still in the community and that is underserved.
Mm-hmm.
And you're really trying to be there to break those barriers and educate.
Right.
I think the more we educate, we can get people to learning how to access these
Yes.
things. And the resources, literally, they're there.
Mm-hmm.
We just don't know it because the education has been lacking. So I think it's phenomenal that you are there really trying to educate them. Another thing you said was with the EAP, you really don't know how many people call me wanting services, and I say, well, I don't take insurance. And they're like, everybody takes insurance. Okay. I don't, but I know people that do. Have you turned your card over?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh no, I didn't know anything was on the back of the card. And then they'll call me and they'll say, oh, I found one.
Mm-hmm.
I call them, and it's that idea. It's just pure education. Because I might not be the one that can work with
Correct.
you. I might not. It may be out of my my realm of my licensure.
Correct.
And so I have to operate within that. So I refer.
Right.
Check into your insurance, and me, you and I,
Mm-hmm.
we always, hey, somebody who take this. Are you
Exactly.
doing this?
Exactly.
Are you doing that?
Exactly.
Trying to make sure we're not leaving them without something.
Something. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, gotta. Because I mean, I don't know about you, but I do. If I get someone who needs some type of insurance, and I'm like, ugh, I feel some type of weight.
Yeah.
That if I don't give them some type of resource to look into, I feel like I haven't done my due diligence to that individual. So I appreciate you identifying those barriers, especially as it comes to the community which you serve.
Mm-hmm.
That's big, and I hope we can find a way to merge and bring in that resource that you need in your community.
Right.
Just being there as a pro bono, that's a part of our ethics.
Correct.
We have to service the community.
Correct.
Everybody can't pay.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Nope. I mean, we don't have to do it for free for 55 years.
Correct.
But,
correct.
We can provide some sources of relief for you to the community that you serve. Because I'm sure it's you and maybe one or two, maybe other therapists in your area.
I'm going to be honest with you. As far as private practice, it's slim. And they do have community service boards. I mean, you're familiar with that. So, but again, they are even limited, especially after COVID. The pandemic has really changed the scope of services delivery. especially in person. And you understand that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So now the community service board, they usually could, kind of be the catch all for those, like you said, who may not have insurance. They could be able to come in because most of the time these organizations receive federal funding to be able to provide free services. Now they're struggling with trying to keep staff.
Yeah,
It's tough. Let me
it's
tell
tough.
you, it is tough. The landscape when it comes to mental health and the services delivery is changing, and people get left out. Unfortunately.
Yeah, and I don't think we think about that. How COVID has really did a number. And everything we think, oh, it's easier because you could just access it online.
Some people
But
can't.
everybody doesn't have wide, that width band and internet services in the rural area.
Correct.
And that's where our policies and being real advocates and change agents in our communities. Right. But again, when you live in the city, you're like, everybody has internet. But that's not true. Everybody has a cell phone. Right. Some people are still using their phone, their regular house lines and things like that. We don't think about those things when we get far removed. So I'm glad that you're bringing this stuff to our attention, even to our audience, because people do watch. They're going to watch it, they're going to hear it, and they're like, oh, that's me. Right. I can identify with that, or that's my uncle, or that's my grandma. Correct. That's somebody that's down there in Jefferson County or down there in Louisville, and Wadley, all down in that area. That might not be able to access that.
That's right.
So I appreciate that. You have written a book, and it is called Grieve with Grace. Rediscover Purpose, Acceptance, and Faith After the Loss of a Loved One. I have read it. I recommend it.
Thank you.
Again, a lot of people do come to me for grief. And even though a lot of people like, oh, it's too much. And I understand, I never leave them without sending them a copy of your book. I buy it and I just send it because it's a great resource. Again, it's easy to digest. I love how you have the pages, you have the resources in the back, you have the scripture to meditate on that they can write. It is well written. It's not 5,000 pages, and I want to talk about it.
Thank you.
What was your process like writing this?
Well, as you stated earlier, this wasn't by chance. I felt like this was something that God had directed me to do, but it had to take time for me to do my own healing. And so I've shared before, and I also talk about some of them in the book, but, I had a child that passed away 16 years ago. It was life altering. I was not prepared. Most time you can't be prepared for death, but, to lose a child is different. And I had experienced loss before. Another big loss I had was my grandmother. My maternal grandmother, I was very close to her. I lost her, but, she was at an age, she was older. With health problems, it was still hard. I was able to navigate it some, but when I lost a child, it was different. So the life that I knew, it changed. And so I was lost. I was like, I don't know how to deal with this. No one can really comfort me because no one has really experienced it that it was close to me. So I had to go to counseling. So I was working at the time, I was working in corrections as a counselor. And so the chaplain came. And that's one thing I have to say about that agency. They really supported me. So they came to me, and the chaplain gave me the information for employee assistance program. So that's how I became familiar with it, and I advocate for it a lot because of that. And so that's how I started my healing journey with grief. And I met a social worker, and she was my therapist. And that was what the light bulb went off in my head. Like, I want to comfort and help people the way that this woman has helped me. That's how I'm going to give back. Because I don't know how my life would have turned out if I wouldn't went that route. I'm just telling you, I was just in that type of space.
Mm-hmm.
And so that journey, it was difficult. And I still grieve today. And that's why I felt it was important. I was like, okay, God, COVID is here. There's something that I need to do because I really need to get this information out to help people. And so then came, well, write a book, not many chapters, but make it more like a journal book, and put it down in writing. The things that you use to help you and what you have been telling people who've been coming to you for grief counseling over the years. That was tough. It was tough. It was in my head, but it's putting it down on paper is the challenge. So let me tell you, the grief came back. Like I said, grief comes in waves because now I'm having to be vulnerable in a way I haven't been in some time. And so it was a difficult process because I had to encourage myself to do it. And like I said, it just brought back a lot of feelings that I experienced. But I was like, I know this is part of my healing. I must do this. This is the next step of the journey. Because you don't get over grief. You manage it. And that's why I tell people come to me, you learn to manage it where it doesn't manage you. So I knew I knew it was something that God had tasked me to do, and he wouldn't allow me to get away from it. So he like, you gonna do this? I know you gonna do it through the tears, nose, running. You gonna, if you have to cry, come back and write a couple more words down. That's what you're gonna do, and that's what I did. Some days, better than others, and I'll, type up some, in my computer, and I'm like, okay, I can't do anymore. So it took a couple months for me to finish it. But I had such a great editor who helped edit my book, Grace Brown. I got to give kudos to her because she was also my accountability partner. So she was like, "You gonna get this done?" And I was like, "Okay." She's like, "You gonna finish?" And I'm giving you a deadline because it was really her. Because if I hadn't had the right person kind of pushing me, I don't think I would have finished it because it was just that emotional for me. But yes, I definitely had to give Grace Brown. I had to give her kudos for just being awesome. And she's the one that edited my book and designed it as well. And so she has a company that she does that, write journals and help people publish their books. And so she's awesome.
Shout out to Miss Grace.
Yes.
Grace Brown.
Yes.
All right.
So she came into my life and helped me get that done, and I am proud of it. I want to make it something that, like I said, was digestible. I didn't want to put too many words in people to understand because sometimes we can talk over people, and it's like we don't have to use so many, jargon. Like people, you got to talk to people where they are. So I want to make it simple. I want to make it readable, and I wanted to make sure it was applicable to whoever picked it up. But I'm not saying that this is the book that's going to help you resolve your grief, but I'm hoping that it is going to educate you, inspire you, and also get you to a place of, you know what, I can't deal with this. I thought I couldn't, but I can. And it's just another tool. That's what it is. It's just another tool. But yes, I'm grateful for it, and I'm happy that people come back and share how it has been beneficial for them. So thank you again for supporting me because you giving my book out and encourage people to read it. That supports me. So I thank you so much. Thank you.
Because I believe in if you've done it, I don't have to do it.
That's true. That is true. That is true.
And some people need to read it. And I have not experienced grief at that level. And so even as a therapist, we have our way of wanting to talk through things with them, but nothing hits different when you're reading it from someone who has lived it. Because I've had people say, you don't know what it's like. And I don't, but I have a resource and I know someone who does. So I may just be giving you what I've learned, but and you might not speak with her ever,
Right.
but her story, the real process of grief is in here, and you may be able to find some resources to help you. And a lot of times with clients, we'll work through your book because it helps them. You know, I don't have to do that work. You've done it. You've put it here. This makes my job a little bit easier, being honest.
I appreciate it. I
And
appreciate it.
and they identify with it. A lot of the feedback that I get from your book from some clients is they love the scripture part, and they're like, "Why do you think she put that there?" I said, "I'll ask her." So, why did you leave those lines for them to put those scriptures there?
Well,
Because a lot of people don't even relate to scripture
right.
when they're lining up with grief, which I don't understand. But talk to me about that part, that little part where they can go and put the scriptures there.
Well, that was kind of what I feel like. I must have something to focus on. Because
Mm-hmm.
if all I focus on my grief, it would consume
Mm-hmm.
you. And I have seen the result of people who allowed their grief to consume them. Some people stop living. Have you ever seen like what was the show everybody was watching, like the Walking Dead or
The Walking Dead. Mm-hmm.
That's how some people are with grief. I've seen some people, it's just taking their life out. And unfortunately, they want to leave, but they just don't know how. They're just too afraid. And so so it's like, if I don't have anything to focus on and meditate on, that's what the word says. Meditate on the word. You got to do it day and night. So I need to find something that I can channel all of my hurt, my pain, and sorrow. Because there's nothing physical that I can do. So I'm like, okay, emotionally, I need to have something. So I need a scripture. I need something that I can see, that I can go to when I'm feeling that pain, when I'm feeling overwhelmed, when when my emotions starting to take over. I need to have a scripture that I can come up with and say, okay, I remember what this says. I remember what the word says. And so I think that's important, because that helps you to kind of continue to push forward.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I'm going to deal with my grief, but I need something to help me to continue to move forward,
Mm-hmm.
and not get stuck
Mm-hmm.
in all the sadness and sorrow that is that's present. And so, yeah, the scripture is very important. And like I said, it's just something for you to meditate on, to refresh the mind. We got to filter our minds. That's why I tell my client, you must filter your mind daily. You must have things that you pour into yourself. If you don't have anything poured into you, you're going to be empty. And you're trying to give when you're empty. And see, sometimes when you're empty, you don't give your best. You don't show up in the way that you should. That's like a car trying to go on fumes. A car can't go far if there's not enough gas. So I look at scripture as the gas. Like, I'm the vehicle. I'm trying to move forward, but I need something to give me the strength to be able to continue on. The scriptures, it helps. And there's quite a few scriptures in the Bible that talks about grief and loss and mourning. So like I said, the things that we experience is nothing new. I remember my grandmother used to say, "There's nothing new under the sun." That takes some seasoned people to understand that term, right? There's nothing new under the sun. So what we're experiencing in today, there are people who have experienced, okay? So that's why I have people to reference back, find a scripture, find something that you can hold on to. And say, okay, I can continue to press on. I can press towards the mark. I can look towards the hill. That's maybe all I can recite at that time. But hopefully that's going to give me the courage to be able to get out of bed. Because people understand, grief will take your breath out of your body. You can't even get out the bed. I've been there. Okay? So it's like, I got to have something that's going to motivate me. Because the money in the bank, your job type, none of that matters once you experience grief, okay? Especially in the magnitude that I've experienced it. It's like all that superficial now. It's like that don't even matter anymore.
Right.
So yes, Bible scriptures are very important. And if it's just sticking with one, if that's what works for you, then that's what works. But I put in a couple in the book that is related to grief and dealing with sadness and dealing with anxiety. So, like I said, all these things are discussed in the Bible. Mental health is real. It has been here for centuries. It's not going away.
Right.
We can close our eyes. We can shut off our ears and not. It's not going away. Mental health is real. It's real, and if they talk about it in the Bible, then how can we ignore it now? It's not make believe. People not making stuff up. I hear some people say some things like what? No, this is not make believe. So
it is real.
It is real. It is real. So yeah, that's the reason for the Bible scripture. I hope that kind of shed some light on it.
Yeah, absolutely. It did, and I like how we are able to bring in our faith.
Yes.
In our profession. Mm-hmm. We cannot separate the two. Mm-hmm. As much as we try to. Mm-hmm. It's like, I always tell people, Jesus was the chief social worker.
Now that's real. That's real.
So how can I not?
That's real.
Quote and follow my chief.
That's real. I like that.
That's why, we street warriors.
I like that. Now I never looked at it that way, but I'm glad you said it, and I'm about to use that.
Use it. Because really that's what we do.
Yeah.
We do work that takes a lot.
Oh, yes.
Yes. And again, every one of you that I have spoken to today, your faith is that anchor. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And we have taken our own experiences in life. And I think that's what makes us efficient and effective at our jobs.
Yes.
And I think God is pleased that we don't, in school they teach you to, don't share. But to me, it's a disservice because how am I to connect with you?
Correct.
I might not have to divulge everything about my life, but I have to give you something for you to say, oh, she's human too. Because people don't think we are.
Exactly. And I don't know why.
I don't know either.
Because I said, well, I don't try to show up that way like I'm perfect. Listen, I'm not perfect. I am trying to navigate life. I'm going to tell you, Bishop Jake said something that was so profound, and I share it often. He said, we're all students at Life University. Mm-hmm. That never ends. We're still learning. We're still growing. But I may be a little further along. I may have some things I could share with you on my journey so far. Mm-hmm. So yes, I'm not perfect, and, my clients, we talk about it. I'm like, I'm not perfect. Do believe that's why I'm not going to sit down, while we're talking with you and try to tear you down. That doesn't help. Because you get enough of that from your family. Most of them, Mm-hmm. So it's like, no, I'm going to correct you.
Right.
Because that's just part of therapy. I am going to correct, disorganized thinking, beliefs, patterns. Yeah, I'm going to correct you, but it's out of care and concern. Because it's things that I can see you can't see because you've been operating the same thing so long. You don't see the habits like I see them. Mm-hmm. So that's the reason why. That's the approach. But no, we're not perfect by any means. Mm-mm. Nope.
Mm-mm. Any of us will tell you, no.
Please don't put me on no pedestal. Don't
put me there.
No. Do not do that because I'm still learning.
Okay. I'll fall any minute too.
Right. I'm still looking at my bracelet. What would Jesus do? Because my sister be ready to say some stuff, man. And my clients like that authenticity because I'm authentic. I'm real. Like, I'm still the flesh too. So, sometimes I be looking at people like,
I'm still trying to work on that.
Yeah. I'm like, God, I'm nothing but, I'm your sheep. You got me now. But you know this tongue will get away. So I have to ask him. Yeah, I had to ask him. Like my growing used to say, hold that mule. I was just say, like, what that mean? My grandmother, oh man, the wisdom that she used to say, well, that she said, you better hold that mute. That she said, tone, because it'll get away. So I have to say, I'm still working on me too now. Yeah. So I'm not perfect. And, we'll laugh. I mean, even then, we have, we laugh about things in my sessions.
Me too. You better. Yeah. You have to, because it's so much.
Yes. Yes.
And you're trying to find that little glimpse.
Right.
And sometimes they find it in that laughter.
And humor, it's therapy and it's healing in that too. Yeah. It's healing.
Because some of it they know don't make no sense.
Yeah, I'd be like, all I can do is laugh with you on that one. And we just laugh because it's like, sometimes my husband, he'll walk by and I be in my office, he's like, that don't sound like no therapy session. I was like, you just mind your business. That's what I tell him. Because that is therapy for some people. Because you know what? That may be the first time that person had an opportunity to laugh. Mm-hmm. Life, they're so serious with life and what they're dealing with. It's like that's the first time that person had the opportunity to laugh and it come up from the belly. I like those types of full laughs. And, so that's our bonding. That's the way we bond. Because they'll go from crying to laughing with me. And then they'll be like, now, how did I do that? I'm like, I don't know. But they all work together for the good.
Yes, it does. And it keeps them coming back.
Yes. Because it's
real.
They
look forward to it.
It's real. And so, that's what it's about. Meeting people where they are. Mm-hmm. No need to beat them up. Life is beating them up enough. There's nothing else you can say. So it's like, I'm trying to lift you up. Yeah. Now I'm going to correct you. You may not like it, but I'm going to correct you. But at the end of the day, you appreciate it later. And I had some conversation. I didn't understand, but now I get it. So again, awesome. It's a walk. It's a walk. But we gotta walk in rhythm now. We can't. We gotta walk in rhythm. Okay, now I tell we gotta walk in rhythm now. I don't need to be pulling you.
That's right.
Okay. Cause change is for you. Mm-hmm. I want to see you grow. I want to see things manifest in your life. You deserve it. I don't care what you've been through. I don't care what anybody told you. There's still more. There's more for you. But you got to believe it. I can't make you believe that.
Right. That's good. I can't. As much as I would like to.
Yes.
I can't do the work for you.
I can't. I had to learn that early in social work because I'm going to tell you, I came with this idea like, I'm going to save everybody. And, I'm going to be the next Mother Teresa. That didn't last long. No, I'm telling you, it did not last long.
It did not.
No, because I was like, wait a minute, I can't be pulling people. This is something they must buy into. That's why I tell them, therapy, you must buy into it. Mm-hmm. It's an investment. Just like you invest money in a wigs, you spend $100, $200, $300. Now I want you to do just like you invest in that hair. I want you to invest in this service. And I'm just being real. I tell them.
Absolutely.
I want you to invest. This is an investment because this is the best investment you can make your well-being because that's what's going to produce. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Buying them $100 wigs that's not your investment. When you invest in you and your health, that's the best investment you can make because you're valuable alive than you are dead.
Absolutely.
And that's just how frank I am.
Hair or no hair.
Yeah. It's not going to matter.
Don't even matter.
Because you can't take no wigs with you. Now, I want to see somebody try to take all your wigs and put them in the casket. I just really want to see somebody try to do that. I'm just saying. Because, people have, we got to use logic here,
I agree. Like, what y'all going to do with all these wigs?
Yeah, you got all kind of wigs. And I'm like, and none of them going with you.
None of them.
But
you only wear one at a time.
You only wear one at a time. Now, unless you got some, personality is you may throw one on. You may be Sally in the morning and Judy in the evening. I don't know, but whatever floats your boat. But like you only wear one at a time. That's all. Yeah. So
and you cannot take it with
you. You can't take it with you. So you got to look at what what's going to give you the best outcome. Mm-hmm. What's going to give you the surplus. What's going to give you the most, like I said, bang for your buck. Investing in yourself.
That's right.
That's the best
That's
investment
right.
you make. Training, education.
That's right. And then you're actually able to leave wisdom behind.
Yes.
There's no wisdom in that
Yes.
wig.
Yes.
There's no wisdom in that car.
No, you're right. You're right.
There's no wisdom in that house.
Correct.
But there's wisdom. Like to your point, your grandmother, I reference my grandmother all the time.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Because that was nothing but wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm comforted in that because her words hold more value to me than any wash pot she had.
Correct.
Any dress.
Correct.
Any ring.
That's right.
It's her words that carry me.
Yes. Yes.
And so I'm comforted in that.
Mm-hmm.
She's not here physically, right?
Yeah.
But in the spirit of things, I hear her.
Yes.
Say, don't be no fool.
Now, our grandmother, they must be friends. They were hanging out buddies or something, because that's what my grandmother always said. Don't be no fool.
Don't be no fool.
Mm-hmm.
My grandmother used to say, you could be a fool, but don't be no damn fool. And I didn't understand, like, what's the difference?
It's a big
one. But as I got older,
it's a big one.
It's a big difference.
But you know what? That type, like you said, that type of wisdom, it stays with you. It sticks with you. That's wealth.
Yes.
Because like you said, we could come up with things like, seem like our grandmother just talking to us, right? That's sitting in the room with us just talking, and things are just coming to us. It's clear. That's why appreciating your elders. That's why I have such a great relationship and connection with my elders. Mm-hmm. I don't care their education level. My grandmother, she was only able to get through elementary school, because in the time she came, she had to work. She would pick cotton. She came up during a difficult time, and so her education level was not mine. But let me tell you, the wisdom that she had, oh my goodness, you can't find it in a university.
You sure can't.
Okay, you can't. That's life.
Mm-hmm. That's life. And us going to a university to get that paper gives us access to give our wisdom out. Right. To those that may never come in contact with us. Right. And that's what I love about social work and what we're doing in these barriers. We can impart. Yes. Okay, we'll give you this. Right. But before you go, let me tell you this. Exactly. Because this you'll understand. This is palatable to you. How can I take all of what we know from what we get educationally and simmer it down? Yes. For my people to understand. There you go. That's right. Yeah. And I tell people that paper gives me access. That's it. I have to have it for the access to give you this. They make it a requirement. Yeah. Because I can't just go out. I mean, I could go out here and just talk to you, but to be efficient. There you go. That's right. And for you to be able to hold me ethically accountable. Yes. For what I'm saying to you. That's right. Yeah. And I have clients, and I'm sure you do. They ruminate over what you say. And so it's in there, and they say, I hear you. And I make better decisions because I hear you saying, is that the right thing to do? That's right. Would you do this? That's right. And I said, okay, well, we'll take it. So I'm making sure, to your point, we have to be very good stewards of our words. People are holding on to them. Yes. Yeah. I agree. Coping. People don't think we cope. People don't think we have coping skills. So I want to ask you, what coping skills do you use on your day-to-day just to get through anything? Work, life. What coping skills do you use? Well, I have to use several, because like you said, the nature of the work that we do, because we encounter people who are really going through some difficult seasons. And, vicarious trauma, that happens to us. And I know when I'm full, my body lets me know. So, self-care is very important. That is priority for me. If that's taking a walk, like you said, having a nice cup of coffee, taking a break, going outside, exercise, spa day, whatever it is,
I owe it to myself. It's like I'm rewarding myself. Like for the work that I've done, I need this. So I don't deny myself time off. And I tell my clients, listen, Ms. Chatman gonna take some time off. If it's an emergency, you need to call 911 because I don't operate, 24/7 services. They are fully aware, and I make sure the clientele that I serve don't need that. Okay,
that's good.
So, and they be like, "Oh, Ms. Chatman, I'm glad." I'll tell them like, "Ms. Chatman, take some time off because I have to clear the clutter." And they say, "Oh, we understand." I'll never have clients say, "Oh, why you gotta take off?" They never question it. They understand because I share that with them because it's important to me. Because I want to know the things that I'm telling you, that's what I'm doing too. So self-care, gratitude, just being thankful. We in a culture now, everything is about quick, flash, be seen, it's so much of it. It consumes you. I have to, now I'm taking a social media break. I have to take a break because it just gets to be too much, and you don't know what's reality and what's not. Because people, they know how to play their positions, and they do a good job with their acting. And you have clients, and I know you had clients. They sad and depressed because they're looking at these things on social media, looking at people 2 seconds of their life, and I'm like, do not allow that to filtrate you. Your mind. People doing the comparison games, even with us, as therapists, we see other therapists, they're flashing like, got 1 million followers. And I'm like, how you got 1 million followers? I see some of that stuff. I'm like,
me either.
I don't think that's real. I think that's
some paid. Them.
Yeah, yeah. But see, if I allow that to seep into me and say, oh, I must compete.
Right.
Then here I'll go try to burn myself out trying to achieve that. Because I say, you know what? We all have a place. It's no competition.
Not one.
Like you said, me and you talk. Hey, do you have any opens? Can you accommodate the person? Do you know how? Because we cannot serve everybody. And I'm not going to try.
Me either.
I'm not going to try. So even
my life ain't set up like that.
Yeah, I know I'm not. Now, some people do. That's why I had to leave. And I know I'm kind of going off, but that's why I had to leave. Working in corporate. Because, see, they'll put so many number of people on you. And it's like, wait a minute, now, I cannot do this with quality. I can't serve people in quality like that and you burning me out and I'm having to see all these people. It's like, I can't do that. I can't operate that way. So, that's why I like being in private practice because now I get to say, how many people I'm going to see. And I know my number. I know how many people I can see in a day. And I know when I'm getting my, to my limit. So even that, like I said, self-care, mindfulness, gratitude, all those things I utilize on a day-to-day basis. Music, I love music. I'm a music person, so I listen to music. And that's how I cope with life, because I promise you there's a song out there that's relatable. There's always one. I share with my client, listen to this song right here. I think this really going to help you, it's going to give you some clarity. Because, see, I'm not the type of person, I'm not going by the book. I'm like, yes, I have the principles down that I obtained from graduate school. I have all that. But that is not applicable to what you're dealing with. Because what you're dealing with, it wasn't taught in our books.
That's right.
You got people
100% right.
It's the foundation. We got to build on it.
Right.
But I'm not a textbook social worker. I tell people, whatever you probably have witnessed or experienced, just get that out your head because I'm not that person. So let me just go and tell you.
Put that over there.
I don't look like what a social worker you think. That's not who I am. So I'm going to go and tell you. I'm going to talk to you like you're a person. We may listen to some music. We may go over, some, something from Erykah Badu, on and on. You don't never know what I may bring. I may come with a devotion from my auntie, Ayana.
I love it. Yeah.
I incorporate, because you got to meet people where they are.
Yeah.
Even with my team, they may talk about little baby, big baby. I said, well, let me find out who these people is. Because most of the time, I don't know them. So I let them educate me. They be laughing like, they got that thing, the big baby. I said, well, that's all I'm saying. All of them got a baby on the end of their name. I don't know why grown men got babies. But
I don't know why they little.
Yeah.
Little.
Why you a little baby, big baby? I'm like, what that don't mean? Tell me. Okay. But I gotta meet them where they are, right?
Absolutely.
You know.
I get it.
I have to meet them with, and I allow them to teach me sometimes. There's things that they impart on me. I'm like, you know what? You don't taught me something today, and they need to hear that. They be like,
yeah.
oh, I do. Wow, I did. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
I said, we learn from each other.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I don't always have the answers, and I tell them like, honey, I don't know what to tell you on that one. There, I'm glad you just said it out loud because I don't know what to say. Because some things leave you speechless. Because the things that people have experienced,
you can't make it up.
See, I thought Jerry Springer wasn't true, right? I don't heard some things. I mean, people make a lifetime. I said, you know what? You got a lifetime movie story. They be like, you think? I was like, I never heard this. I mean, there's some things that I had never heard. People have been through. There are some people that have really been through some trials and tribulations. Let me tell you. And then you look at your life like, man, I used to think that I've been through a lot.
People don't know the stories we hear.
We hear a lot.
And a lot of times I'm like, I'm glad you're here.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
Even to remember your own name.
Correct. That's right. That's right.
And so, you try to build off of that strength you are here. And I have nothing to say to that.
What can you say? Like you said, I'm grateful you still here. Like you said, there's a purpose for your life, whether you believe it or not. To have experienced that, to been through that, and to be able to stay, and you in somewhat your right frame of mind. You may not be 100%, but you somewhat there where you can still work. You get my applause.
That's right. You have the capacity to know you need to go see somebody.
Correct. That's right. But they need to hear that. But see, most time people are beating on them and telling them what they're not and who they should be, why they're not. They come to us for some type of safety. They need to be in a place where they're, and that's what we do in social work. We create that safe space for them. They need it where they can be heard and seen. So that's what we do. So yeah, I share my coping skills. I have books. I have so many books at my little desk. You'll think I'm a library, Because I always have something to go to. I'll be like, okay, well, before we get started, let me go get this devotion here. And people look for it. They're like, hey, you going to do our devotion today? I'm like, okay. I go to Ayana because she has like a great, she has one that she wrote the book back in early 2000. It's powerful. It's called Until Today. I use that a lot. I read it. And then I read it because that's my way of coping. So I'm like, before I prepare for my, session, let me impart something in me so I can be better prepared. But it's called Until Today. When I tell you it's powerful, it's a great tool to, have as a resource. And so quite a few of my clients bought the book and they're like, Ms. Chapman, it really helped me. Just reading this. And it's just a one page. It has a positive affirmation. And then it talks about that affirmation and how you manifest that in your personal life. Powerful. Powerful. Okay. And so I use that a lot. Until today. And so I read that. That's a coping for me. So I read the devotion before I meet with my client. And then I feel like it's something relatable to our topic that day. Then I bring that in as a supplement. Like I said, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. There's plenty of resources out here. Plenty.
Yeah. I'm going to be respectful of your time. And I'm going to have one more question for you.
Sure. Oh, no worries. I'm enjoying this. It's just like we sitting down talking, right? Like
just talking. Doing what we love to do.
Yeah, it feels good.
Yeah, this is awesome. Good. But I'm going to respect your time. It is Sunday.
I understand.
And if there were a few words of wisdom that you would want someone to catch now rather than later, what would that be to any of our audience that's listening today?
Words of wisdom. There's so many things that I can think to say. I think what's important for people, I think for all of us to figure out our why. Like, because we all have a purpose here. And it saddens me to hear people say, I don't know what my purpose is. Well, you have so much on the surface that is kind of blocking your ability to determine what your why is and what your purpose is. So I think that's important because you need to have something that you're striving for. And it shouldn't be the big house or the nice car. That's material things. The word says, the moth to eat that up. That's not the focus, but it's like, what can I do? Like I said, what legacy? What can I leave for the next generation to come? What is my why? What is it that I want to wake up and do every day? So I feel like that needs to be like your mantra. Like, what is my why? And if I don't know what it is, I need to try to figure it out. Because that's what I had to do. That's how I got here in social work. I didn't get into social work until my 30s. This wasn't my first career choice. Now, I knew I wanted to be in the helping field. And I had the idea of being a nurse, but then I don't like needles. So I'm like, if I don't like needles, then how am I supposed to stick somebody else with needles? It ain't going to work. So I was like, okay. I had to dibble dab in different things and work in different agencies. And then, like I said, I went through my seasons of, of grief and trauma. And then it was revealed, social work. I didn't even envision that I would be here as a therapist because I had told myself, I'm going to work for a company and I'm going to retire. Look at God. Now, if I would have just went by that, I wouldn't be here. But then I had to figure, I said, this is not it. This is not my purpose. It's something more. So my why, I was curious. I was hungry to figure that out. So I said, I tell people, your viewers, figure out your why. Strive towards that. It will come. It will come.
It will come.
But you gotta be willing to seek it though. And it's not gonna just be revealed. It's just not gonna just show up. Like I said, it took me years to get to where I'm at. I didn't even envision this because like you said, when the pandemic happened, I had to restructure everything.
Right.
I was working face to face, seeing people face to face. Now I'm telehealth. I didn't visualize this. I didn't. But God put me here for a reason. So I just go with him. And whatever he says, that's where I go. So, yeah.
Shuntoya Chatman LCSW. Tell us how we can find you. Where can people purchase your book? And everything you want us to know.
All right.
Because I want people to be able to get your book if they're looking for it.
Well, thank you again for having me here. And I do have a website that you can go and visit. It's www.myholisticcounseling.com. And I have holistic with a W. I have to let people know, not the whole. Because I think about people. We are whole people. Not a HOLE. We are whole. So it's WHOLISTIC, holisticcounseling.com. You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Now, I try to caution people. Now, the way I think and how things materialize is a little different now. Don't try to judge me. Because I like to have fun. I like to put humor in things. So,
I see it.
So people may say, I ain't never think about things like that. Well, that's how I see things. So you can follow me at Holistic Way Therapy on Facebook as well as Instagram. My book, Grieve with Grace, is available on Amazon. So all you have to do is type in Grieve with Grace and it will come up. And I know you'll probably put those links in the description for the show. Thank you.
Yeah, I definitely will, but I want them to hear from you.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Able to find all the links in the description of this podcast. I have thoroughly enjoyed talking with you.
Same here. Same here. It has been a pleasure. Thank you for inviting me. Like you say, it is Social Work Month. I'm always excited about every month that I'm able to witness and experience. But definitely March, because we had it's Women's History Month and like I said, Social Work Month. So I mean, it's just a lot that is going on in this month. And spring is starting to come. And the weather is getting warm. So yeah, this is one of my favorite times of the year. So it's one of them.
Yep. I hope you all have found this month inspiring and inspirational. Thank you to all the social workers that decided to come and allow you all to hear from them, share their expertise, their experiences, and their coping skills. So I want to thank Miss Shuntoya Chatman for wrapping up this month of Catch This Now Social Work Edition, Breaking Barriers. I hope you all have learned something or heard something that was inspiring to you. And make sure you look at her website, check out her services, and check out her book, Grieving with Grace. It is available on Amazon. You will find all the information to her books and any of the other references that Barney Hodge gave out and Mary Smith Tyler gave out will also be in the description box of their episodes. I want you to make sure that you have your notifications on and you subscribe so you do not miss a moment of any new content that is coming out. I would also love to connect with you outside of this podcast, so make sure you are joining my monthly newsletter to stay in the loop about upcoming virtual events, savings, and other fun stuff by visiting tiffanyempowers.me. You can find me on all social media as well by searching my name. Until next time, stay engaged, continue to educate yourself, and embrace the enlightenment as it comes.